Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
So where are your impressions of Valhalla, just for folks that have not seen it on TV or didn't watch the Ryder Cups or past majors?
You know, they see a PGA maybe at a Southern Hills, Moon, or a Bet Page, or, whatever it might be, and they're like, Valhalla and Louisville, Kentucky, but like, look at the tournaments produced, and it's insane. Yeah, it really has, and obviously, of course, I'm biased toward it.
Only on SportsGrid.
Draisaitl could easily, at plus money, get the first goal, the second goal, the fourth goal. There's a few guys here. Maybe the prop betting market is not a bad way to look here.
Clippers over the Mavericks. If I would have told you that score before the game, knowing that Kawhi Leonard wasn't playing, I would have really figured it would have been the other way around. But the NBA is just crazy.
InGame Live, all access, only on SportsGrid.
DraftKings making a progressive move, I think, that most other companies are also going to do or have done in the past. Adding someone from the government or someone you would say in legislation to become their responsible gaming leader here. And in this case, her name is Lori Kalani.
And it'll be interesting to see if other companies try to follow suit in terms of hiring former lobbyists to head responsible gaming.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
It's InGame Live Prime Time on a wonderful Wednesday evening. Scott Wetzel, Matt Perrault sitting in for Dave Sherapan as we take you over the next 2 glorious hours right up until 10 p.m. Eastern Time, watching, analyzing, and hopefully making a profit betting with the boys in Vegas. Yes. We got NBA playoffs tonight. We got NHL playoffs tonight. We got a little baseball stuff. We got a little golf preview with Cam Stewart, who joined us last hour. Mark Zinno will join us at the bottom of this hour. We'll go over some of the things that are going on tonight. So a lot to get to. Black Cloud, same game parlays. If it's on the board, we will try and bet it and make some money. What's going on, Matt? How are you tonight, bud?
Good to be with you, Scotty. It's going to be a fun couple of hours. Sherapan headed to Oakland to go watch his Pirates get blanked by the A's. No idea why you would voluntarily pay to get on a plane to fly to Oakland to watch that baseball game. I have no idea. He had good seats, though. He was behind home plate. Him and like 10 of his friends got to watch a Major League Baseball game because it was a getaway special in Oakland. But good to be with you. Celtics off to a very good start here tonight against the Miami Heat. This series, if it goes the way the first quarter has gone, the series is over, and Boston will advance to the second round, where we'll see if Porzingis plays at all in that round. My guess would be KP does not, but a good start for Boston Celtics backers at the moment.
Yeah, I did see on the internet one of the guys up in Boston saying that he's not going to be available in the second round. So, Matt, that is just crazy. We've seen it before, though, right? I mean, a gazillion guys, Mike Trout in baseball, he wasn't hit. He wasn't knocked over. He wasn't running towards the basket. He wasn't jumping for a rebound. He's basically just standing there. They threw him the ball. He took a couple steps, and then boom, down he goes with a knee injury. I mean, how fragile are these guys? It's amazing. They're supposed to be the greatest athletes in the world, and yet they can't walk and chew gum at the same time without getting hurt, for goodness sakes.
Yeah, that Trout injury really is a bummer too, because people thought he was going to have a big year. And I look, I don't feel bad for the Angels. I don't like Mike Trout in Anaheim. I thought he should have left when his contract was up. I was upset that he stayed. Not that I want the guy hurt or not, but that was a bummer. Porzingis is injury prone. We know this. He's brittle. I mean, he's fragile. But they don't need him in the second round. And frankly, they don't need him in the Eastern Conference Finals either. Their record without Kristaps Porzingis is tremendous. I think it's like 19-4 on the year straight up. So they're used to playing without him. When Al Horford has started, Boston has won 12 of the last 13 times that Al's been in the starting lineup. And if they play the Sixers or the Knicks, Al Horford can get the job done at the center spot. The problem is when they play Denver. That's the problem. They have to have Porzingis healthy for the NBA Finals if it is the Denver Nuggets, although the public seems to be hammering the T-Wolves in that series. Do you agree with that, Scott, that the Timberwolves should be the side, maybe at plus 1.5 games or maybe even outright to win the series against Denver?
I got to see that to believe it. By the way, 21-4. You're right, Matt. I mean, what do you make of that, by the way, before we get back to the Denver series? I mean, he's a terrific player. He's fit in nicely with Boston, right? He's clearly the third wheel. But 21-4, that's not just like surviving. That is prospering without Kristaps Porzingis. What do you make of that?
Al Horford's a tremendous player, and he's been a highly underrated player for a long time, and the Celtics love him. I mean, they voted him the teammate of the year again, I think last week or last weekend. He's just the glue guy in that locker room with a bunch of young players that don't really feel all that comfortable in the leadership role. I mean, Jason Tatum's not a very vocal guy. Jaylen Brown's somewhat of a polarizing figure when he speaks. Al Horford is the dad in the room. He's the adult that keeps everything going. And look, Derek White's the best player on the Celtics. Nobody wants to acknowledge this, but Derek White on both ends of the floor is the key to anything Boston wants to do. And I love Jason Tatum. I love Jaylen Brown. But they cannot go anywhere without Derek White scoring what he does. 38 points in the last game, 8 threes. He's off to a great start again here tonight. They're deep. Boston's very, very deep. But they'll need them all. Every single player healthy and good to go if they see Denver, who, in my mind, is still the best team in the league.
Yeah. Now, Denver and Minnesota, so back to that, they are minus 205 favorites. So you thought that should have been bigger or lower against Minnesota?
Oh, I think the number is right. It's just all the bets are on the T-Wolves. Everyone's coming in on Minnesota. I haven't seen a single person take the Nuggets yet to win this series. And I'm just like, okay, Denver's still the best team in the league until further notice. So I don't know if I'd lay $2 on it, but I definitely think Denver should be a big favorite to win this series. And until somebody can beat Denver consistently in Denver, I have a hard time seeing them losing.
Yeah. They split their season series 2-2, so it's not like they rolled them like they did with the Lakers. So maybe that's it. Maybe, we're seeing Minnesota coming off a sweep over, a public team like Phoenix that they're buying in. People always, Matt, people are always looking to find the team that's going to knock off the champs. And the champs are like, okay, they're good, but, I'm more happy with this. It's like I heard some guys discussing football futures, and my boy Lisi was saying, the Indianapolis Colts, 80-1. They should be lower than that. That's great value, this and that. And it is, but are the Indianapolis Colts really going to win the Super Bowl? No, they're not, right? And best case scenario. Same thing with Minnesota. It's like, wow, you're giving me plus 175. That's great value. But, okay, it is. But are they really going to beat Denver 4 out of 7? Same thing. I got to see it to believe it.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, this is about cashing tickets, right? Value's great. And,
right.
Sheriff and I talk about it all the time on BVB. It's great when you get the value. It's great when you have the best ticket on the planet, the best odds on the planet. Did it cash? Well, no. Well, then it doesn't really matter, right? I mean, the CLV Hall of Fame is tremendous. I'd much rather be in Bora Bora with a bunch of cash tickets. So it's about winning, not about your best value play. And look, I make value plays too. And I think that there's, a chance to get a number that you might be able to hedge off of. So if you think the Colts are in the playoffs, okay, they go 80-1. Maybe they win a game and you can heavily bet on the other side because you have an 80-1 ticket on them to win it all. But you're not making that bet to ride that bet. You're making that bet to hedge off that play. So, no, look, I mean, the T-Wolves, if they win game 1, that number's gone. Like, that number will totally change. So it really comes down to how do you feel about game 1? Can Minnesota go to Denver and win at Denver? Look, the first game against the Suns, I bet against Phoenix in game 2, 3, and 4 because I watched the game and went, oh, my gosh, they don't have it anymore. They were quicker, the T-Wolves were, more physical. They rebounded the ball incredibly well. They hit threes, and they had Anthony Edwards going up and dunking on everybody. So I hammered Minnesota the next 3 games. Different story with this Denver Nuggets team. I mean, you've got Jamal Murray playing some of the best basketball of his career right now. And, oh, yeah, by the way, Jokic is still the best center in the game. So much different opponent coming up with Denver.
Yeah. All right, you're seeing Matt because our guy Dave Sherpan decided to take a little trip, as Matt mentioned, up to Oakland. He was one of about 3,800 people literally at the ballpark today. Oh, and that was actually high for the series. I mean,
not 3,800 people in that ballpark. There ain't no way.
No.
That's a lie.
No.
That's tickets sold. There's not people in butts in seats. No way.
Yeah. They announced, Matt, I think it was 3,500 for Tuesday's game. Today's Wednesday.
Sure.
Yeah, either yesterday or Monday's game. 3,500 people. I mean, that's embarrassing, right? I mean, I've never been to a stadium with a live event with that few people. Never. I mean,
Scott, the AAA team here in Vegas, the Aviators, draw 7,500 a night. The AAA team doubles up the Major League team.
That's crazy. That's crazy. All right, so where is Sherapan? He's in Oakland, but that hasn't stopped him from giving us some winners.
Hey, guys. Finishing up here in Oakland. War the Pirates stuff, it didn't help. But tonight, you got hockey. 2-game parlay. I hope it's not the Black Cloud play of the night. There's Banjo Man right here. Tape is like 50 years old. Stars at home. Edmonton ends the series. It's done. Hockey, good luck, and who won the Knicks game last night? Frankie, I can't remember. See you, boys.
Rubbing a little sand in the wound with that Knicks game last night. So you can still get in on that parlay, Matt, because Vegas has just tied up Dallas 2-2. So we got 2-2 there. And we got the late game later on today. We'll take a break. We'll talk about his picks when we come back. In-game live, Prime Time on the Grid.
So I turned it off. I got my sweat done, and I'm leaving. I'm taking my money. I'm going home, and I don't want to talk to you for the rest.
Oh, yes!
There it is.
6-3. Catch the over. The over is hit. The Padres are our heroes.
That's how we end the show.
Oh, well, let's just sign off. Let's just call it a show.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Quotes coming out about Embiid. Oh, he's a warrior. You'll never get him off the court. You're just telling me he's an injury. He's one slip and fall away from what's not seeing him anymore in this series.
I would have sat him because there was only 1 day between the two games. It's 2 days between games 2 and games 3, and it's 2 days between games 3 and game 4.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in-game live, prime time here on the Grid. Scott Wetzel, Matt Perrault for the next nearly 2 hours, just getting underway. So we heard from Dave, Matt. So he likes Dallas. He likes both home teams. As I mentioned, a crazy game so far. First period, 2-2, believe it or not. So with a minute and a half still left in the first, Stars basically back to what they were to begin the game, minus 155 or so with 56. Over-under is 8.5. Yikes. That was 5.5 to start. They may get that by the end of the first period, for goodness sakes. And then he's going to parlay that with Edmonton laying nearly 2-1 against the LA Kings. And what do you like on the hockey side of things tonight?
Well, I stayed away from Dallas because Vegas starting Aiden Hill is a pretty big curveball. So I stayed away from that game. I am on the under for the Oilers in the late game. So I don't mind the play saying the Oilers will win, because chances are if the Oilers do win, the Kings won't score very much, and the under 6.5 probably is in play with a 4-2 type final. But the thing about Aiden Hill starting, if you're a Golden Knights fan, you got to be really frustrated because, look, I know Logan Thompson lost both games at home, but it was not his fault. Logan Thompson kept Vegas in both game 3 and 4, and while the scoreboard says he lost, they could have gotten killed. I mean, Dallas just dominated here in Vegas, both games. Same way Vegas dominated in Dallas in game 1 and game 2. So changing up the goaltender, I was very surprised that Aiden Hill, who's been very good this year, I was surprised they made that move. Now it's 2-2, so it's not like this game's over. But if you're a Golden Knight fan, you got to be like, man, we scored 2 goals in the first period and it's tied. Like, that's not great going forward, because Dallas at home, if they get a lead, they're going to sit on it. So, you know, how many goals is Vegas going to score tonight? 3, maybe 4 at maximum. So I think Dallas wins this game. I still think the Stars will wind up winning this game simply because I'm not sure how many goals the Ottinger's given up tonight for Dallas.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like, he only gave up 3. They scored 4, but 1 was an empty netter. 31 shot. But I said the same thing, basically, Matt, on Game Time Decisions with Ranieri before this show. He was good. I thought he was fantastic. They completely left him out to dry. He was making some unbelievable saves. They were buzzing the whole game. I was shocked that Dallas really dominated Game 4 after winning Game 3, and really after playing poorly in Games 1 and 2. The only thing I'll say is, if you remember last year, Hill wasn't the starter from the outset. He came in, I think it was first round, if memory serves me right, after a couple of games. One of the guys got hurt, right? So maybe they're looking for lightning in a bottle again, but the only question is, if he loses tonight like 6-5, like this thing is on pace of going, even if he wins 6-5, I mean, do you bring him back? Do you go back to Thompson? What do you do for Game 6?
Look, the Golden Knights won the Cup last year playing 5 goaltenders because their goaltending, their coach is so good. They have one of the best goalie coaches in the entire game. So really they can run out really whoever they want. And they think they're going to be competitive just because they have such a great coach. It's kind of like I make the comparison to the Patriots with Dante Scarnecchia for all the years, where the Patriots would just like grab guys off the street and come in. That player would be tremendous blocking for Brady because of Dante Scarnecchia. So they feel like they can throw anybody out there. And yes, Aiden Hill did win the Cup, but he was the 5th goaltender of the year. It wasn't like they went into the season like going like, all right, we got Aiden Hill. We feel really good about this guy going out there and winning the Cup for us. So I'll be curious. You make a great point. If they win 6-5, do they go back to Logan Thompson saying like, hey, we got to go home and close these guys out. We can't risk it. Or if they lose, do they say, hey, it wasn't Aiden Hill's fault. We're going to ride with Aiden Hill because he's a guy who's gotten us there before. Our backs are against the wall. We're going to ride with the guy that won the Cup for us. So Bruce Cassidy's in a tough spot here with this goalie move. I would have left Logan Thompson in the game. Look, he may be hurt, okay? If Logan Thompson's hurt, we find that out later, fine. But just to voluntarily make this move, not a fan of it. I would have played Logan Thompson tonight.
All right, since we're talking hockey, before we get to the Celtics games, his former team, Mr. Cassidy, is in a similar plight here. Is it Swayman for the Boston Bruins Game 6? Not that it was his fault he lost Game 5, or if you do, then to me, you're really just writing off Linus Ullmark. But, you know, you're as big a Bruins fan as I am. Where are the Bruins going Game 6?
Oh, it's Swayman until further notice. Ullmark's a great goaltender, okay? But now we have a goaltender over the last 2 years who's 7-1. He was 8-1. Excuse me. He was 8-0 going into last night. Like, of course we're gonna play Swayman here in this big game on the road. He won both games in Toronto. Like, you have to put him in there. And Ullmark is a guy who, yes, has been tremendous for the Bruins. Has had incredible seasons for the Bruins. But this is a team that now is 0-3 in their last elimination games. Couldn't close out the Florida Panthers last year 3 separate times, 2 of them in overtime, and then in overtime yesterday. Couldn't close out again and get a win, and the Maple Leafs now have life going back home. Yeah, 0-4. Sorry, yes, 0-4 last 4 closeout games. So this is bad. I mean, this is there's going to be some really tight skates and guys gripping the stick really hard coming up on tomorrow night, because it's going to be tough for the Bruins. They better score first. They got to get out there, because all that pressure. Toronto's in a good spot. I would rather be Toronto, to be quite honest, right now, because they win game 6. They're going to Boston with all the momentum, the same way that Florida did last year. And the Bruins team, for whatever reason, they've shown a lack of killer instincts in key moments. When it's time to put the series away, this group can't do it, whether it be Pasternak or whether it be Marchand or whatever it is. They're great all the way until it's time to win the series, which is the hardest game to win of any series. Toronto, we'll talk to Cam. Cam is right to be excited, because I think that the Maple Leafs are in a really good spot here for game 6.
You know, Matt, they are seemingly, for me, the Bruins, they're a benefactor of other teams' bad play. Like, when other teams don't really play great, boy, the Bruins look fantastic. But when the other teams use their A game, which doesn't happen all the time, then the Bruins come back down to earth, and we realize they're just a good team, but not nowhere near a great team. And that's kind of what I saw with this Toronto series. Did Boston play great in those games that they won? No, but Toronto played awful, up in Toronto especially. And then Toronto came to play back in Boston, and look what happened. You know, they only won 1 out of the 3 games in Boston. So
right,
they're kind of like good enough to beat the bad teams, or teams that don't play well, but not good enough to beat the really good teams when they play well. You know, A game versus
Score
A game.
first tomorrow.
So,
Score first tomorrow.
That's what they got to do. Got to do. All right, quick break. Another easy Celtic winner should occur. I'll tell you that when we come back.
So I turned it off. I got my sweat done, and I'm leaving. I'm taking my money. I'm going home, and I don't want to talk to you for the rest.
Oh, yes!
There it is.
6-3. Cast the over. The over is hit. The Padres are our heroes.
That's how we end the show. That's how we end the show.
Oh, what? Let's just sign off. Let's just call it a show.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Quotes coming out about Embiid. Oh, he's a warrior. You'll never get him off the court. You're just telling me he's an injury. He's one slip and fall away from not seeing him anymore in this series.
I would have sat him because there was only 1 day between the 2 games. It's 2 days between games 2 and games 3, and it's 2 days between games 3 and game 4.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start, so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in-game live, prime time here on the grid. Scott Wetzel, Matt Perrault in for Dave Sherapan until 10 p.m. Eastern time. We got NBA postseason, we got NHL, we got some baseball stuff to get to. But first up, let's get in with the SGP same-game parlay time. We're going to use basically, Matt, the zigzag system with this. L.A. Clippers and Dallas Mavericks. Clippers at home, 2.5, 3.5, depending on where you do your shopping. Underdogs. I do like Dallas. They played just a brutal game 4 at home, embarrassingly bad. They made a game of it late, but in the end, they lost down by as many as 30-plus points. So give me Dallas to bounce back. I think they're the better team. I thought they were going to win this series. And both Kyrie, who had a great game, and Luka should carry them tonight. No Kawhi Leonard. Again, he's out. I doubt if he plays this series. So give me Dallas laying the check that. We got Edmonton and L.A. My bad. That's our Black Cloud play of the day. Give me Edmonton, though, with the Oilers. Say they're going to close out the Kings tonight. It does scare me that I have not heard anybody say they like L.A., but Edmonton has dominated this series, 10-2 their last 12, 6-2 this year against the Kings. They've scored 4 goals and more in darn near every single one of those games, 9 of 12. I got Connor McDavid to score a goal. He only has 1 for the series, so I can't imagine them winning a series and him only getting 1 goal. I'm going to go McDavid, 3 shots on goal. We're going to go Evander Kane, 3 shots on goal. Add it all up, and you got a nice little 6.5 there to 1, 6-1, depending on, again, where you do your shopping. So give me Edmonton, basically turning a -2-1 underdog into, a plus odds, a favorite, 2-1 favorite into a plus odds underdog.
I like the under in the game. So shots on goal, I like. The McDavid goal is probably the one that I'm a little bit the most curious about, just because he has to score. He should score. But that would be the only one that kind of gives me a little bit of a pause on that. But overall, that should happen. The shots on goal thing always bothered me, though, because it's subjective. Sometimes we think it's a shot on goal and it's not. And you're looking at it going like, wait a minute, that was a shot on goal. And they say, no, it wasn't because it didn't go near the goal mouth. It couldn't have gone in and blah, blah, blah. But no, I think I like that Oilers have to win tonight. I mean, I think they just need to get the first one down, win, advance, and then see what happens the rest of the way. Because, I mean, we could have a bunch of Canadian teams still alive here in the West, depending on what happens in the other series. So, but I've liked Edmonton for a long time. I said before the year, the Cup final was going to be Edmonton against Carolina. I really haven't seen much that's going to sway me from that at the moment. I like both those teams to advance. And Western Conference, I love McDavid in the Cup. I would love to see Connor McDavid play for a Cup.
Yeah, I'm sure the TV networks would as well. That would be the one Canadian team that's viable. I don't think they won Vancouver. They certainly didn't want Winnipeg. I think they can live with Edmonton and McDavid and be able to sell that even here in the States. So we got a winner already on the board. The first half total for the Boston Celtics, Matt, they're up 60-41 with over 4 minutes left to go in the first half. This thing is going way over the 200 total, at least at this rate, and the over 55.5 is absolutely a cash winner for the Boston Celtics. I don't have the records of that. I just know that you like that play a lot, right? Basically every game for the Celtics over first half total.
Yeah, at home, I mean, once it goes over 62 for Boston, I stop. It's 58-62 is when I play it. And when I opened up the apps last night to make the bet, I went, wait, 55.5. It's like, hold on a second. Are we not paying attention? Boston scored over 60 in the first 2 games. Did something dramatically change with Boston besides, well, it's Porzingis being out, but I don't think it was going to matter because Derek White was playing. So was Tatum. So was Brown. So was Horford. I thought it was nuts. I mean, these are the bets where you're like, I wish I bet more because 55.5, they scored 41 points in the first quarter against Miami. Like, I don't know what that number was. That number 55.5 for the whole first half. And the first half total was 105.5. They're blowing through that. That's been dusted already. So just one of those nights where the bookmakers didn't have the right number. They were way, way off on this total as to what Boston was going to do offensively against Miami.
Yeah, it's a weird game. Miami might not score 90 points, literally. I mean, I think they will. We talked about that earlier, but they might not. So they can't put the game total that high. And if you're not going to put the game total that high, then you can't put the Celtic total first half that high. It's generally, you figure they thought it would be like a 108 to 92 final. Point spread around 15, over under, right, around 200, 201 or so. So
right. No.
And that's just generally how they figure it out.
Yep.
So, you got yourself a nice little gift there for sure. All right, Mark Zinno will join us next here on The Grid.
So I turned it off. I got my sweat done, and I'm leaving. I'm taking my money. I'm going home, and I don't want to talk to you for the rest.
Oh, yes!
There it is.
6-3. Cast the over. The over is hit. The Padres are our heroes.
That's how we end the show. That's how we end the show.
Oh, what? Let's just sign off. Let's just call it a show.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Quotes coming out about Embiid. Oh, he's a warrior. You'll never get him off the court. You're just telling me he's an injury. He's one slip and fall away from what's not seeing him anymore in this series.
I would have sat him because there was only one day between the two games. It's 2 days between games 2 and games 3, and it's 2 days between games 3 and game 4.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in-game live, prime time here on the grid. Scott Wetzel, Matt Perrault filling in for Dave Sherapan. You see Matt all the time here anyway on Friday nights with him and Dave. And joining us now, guys, you see Sunday nights here on the grid. Mark Sino. Talk a little NBA, a little hockey, maybe a little baseball as well. What's going on, Mark? How are you tonight?
Better than the Miami Heat. They are just
Yes.
walking towards their eventual elimination here as the Boston Celtics scored 41 points in the first quarter. That would have been nice when I bet the Celtics team total over the other night. It also would have been nice for them not to score 19 points in the second quarter of that game, and they would have gotten over. But alas, these NBA playoffs, at least in this first round, I feel like I've been a day late and $1 short with a lot of these bets. Everything I think is going to happen in one game happens in the very next game. So nonetheless, Miami's all but done here. They're a dead man walking.
Tell me about the diet. All right. Scotty, I don't know if you follow this dude on Instagram, but he is shredding himself at the moment. What's the diet, Mark? Because you're going down to what, 5% body fat? I am very impressed with this. What's the diet consist of to get you here?
But this is a normal routine for me every year when we bulk up in the winter and we cut down in the summer. So the diet is the same one that the Heat offense uses. You just keep missing your mouth and missing the opening. And if you do that, then, everything seems to work out. No, I mean, listen, I take care of what I eat pretty much very regimentedly every day. And that's important. If you ever want to start getting in better shape and fixing your health, what you put into your body is the most important thing. So the diet is a lot of rice, a lot of chicken, a lot of green vegetables, and it's not meant to taste good. It's meant to be. I choose functionality over flavor at this point in time. If I want a good meal, I go out to eat to a restaurant.
So you're just eating the same thing every day? Same thing every day?
The same. I mean, there's fish, there's chicken, there's steak. I mean, a little mixing it up here. It's just like, again, it's same as we got full game bets, we got first quarter bets, we got first half bets. You just mix it up. It's nice life.
So it sounds like you basically are eating okay, nothing crazy. You're not eating kale and spinach every day. You're just taking out the Twinkies. You're not hanging out with Zion Williamson. No more Twinkies, no more potato chips.
I have a terrible sweet tooth, guys. I mean, it is heinous. Anything sweet and chocolate, it's me. So, talk about a guy who could sit down and eat a whole box of Oreos. And I'm not talking like one of those little sleeves. I'm talking about the whole entire box. If you wanted me to, I would not have an issue doing that. I would feel disgusting afterwards, but I could do it. Like, if there was a man versus food for like regular people, I probably would do pretty well at it. All that said, I just avoid a lot of that stuff.
Well, you look great, so keep it up. It's always fun and motivating to see other people get ripped for the summer. So I'm right behind you. Okay, so the late game tonight. This is interesting. Mavericks are creeping up 2.5, 3.5 point favorites here. Kawhi's out again. Are we seeing a bounce back spot for the Mavs here after what happened in Dallas?
I mean, I keep looking at these totals because I'm somebody who always looks at the total and try to correlate it to the line and see where it is, right? Because all that stuff has to make sense. Mathematically, all the numbers seem to work out, and we're bottoming out with a total here, guys, at 208.5. I mean, at some point in time, somebody's got to start being able to make some shots. And, this is a Dallas team that focuses a heck of a lot more on offense than it does on defense. And Dallas sitting here with a team total of, 105? Why shouldn't they be able to get to 105, especially without Kawhi Leonard on the floor? But I would tell you that I think the over favors Dallas, the under favors the Clippers. But if the Clippers are going to win this game, they've got to generate some offense. Whether that's James Harden, I looked at his prop for threes made. I know it's 3.5, and it's a little bit juicy to the over, or a little bit, push to the over as far as the number is concerned. I'd look for a 2.5 rather, and see if you can find a little bit better number and pay minus money as opposed to the plus money for the 3.5. But I say all this to say that there's got to be a way that the Clippers have to get some additional scoring, right? I mean, it's got to be Harden. It's got to be Westbrook. There's got to be Zubac's got to get involved somehow. It can't just be the Paul George show. Somebody else you're going to need 3 or 4 guys in double figures, if not close to 20, if the Clippers have a shot to win this game because they just don't have the depth.
What do you make of all these teams? You would think the Bucks last night, Mark, without Giannis, without Damian Lillard, no shot, right? They win. We've seen the Clippers basically without Kawhi Leonard for the most part still hang tough against a red hot, really coming into the postseason 2-2. So, I mean, shouldn't Dallas just be, stomping all over them? Are you surprised this series is 2-2?
We talk about so much in the playoffs, in the NBA playoffs, how much defense ramps up. I genuinely don't think it's defense ramping up across the board. I genuinely think teams are missing shots. If you look at some of the percentages from some of the shooting, some teams in this league, again, go to Boston, a team that shoots 47% from the field. You're shooting 42, 43% against Miami. That's not really Miami's defense, right? This isn't like the full best Miami version of this team. And so, some of that too is also just, again, pace issues because no one's really pushing the pace. I would challenge to see any team right now just say, screw the defense. Indiana has the best leverage of any team because they're used to playing fast. And I would say screw the defense. Just run up and down and force somebody to chase you and catch you. That's what they do well. Why get away from that? Why get into this slog fest with any other team? Just keep pushing the pace as fast as you can, score as much as you can, and try to bank on other teams making as many shots as possible. And yet nobody else in these playoffs is really playing any transition whatsoever.
Mark, Scott and I were talking about it in the previous segment a bit about the T-Wolves and the Denver Nuggets and the fact that it really feels like the public and a lot of people are all over Minnesota. I've yet to see anybody say the defending champs are going to get past the Timberwolves. I love Minnesota, but I don't think they beat Denver. Do you?
No. I mean, look, the Nuggets have the best home court advantage in all basketball for a reason. The altitude will matter. You have to give credit to the defense, right? You have to give credit to the Minnesota defense and say, look, this is the best defense in the NBA. It has been all year long for a reason. However, Denver's defense is really good, and they have somebody who can check Karl Anthony Towns for 4 quarters and Nikola Jokic. The question is, on the flip side, does anybody in Minnesota have anybody that can check Nikola Jokic for 4 quarters? And the answer is no. Why? Because nobody can do that for 4 quarters. He's the best player on the planet by a wide margin, and there's a reason for that. So Denver has a decided edge. I don't think Minnesota's winning this series. If Minnesota has any chance, they have got to steal game 1. That's really what it boils down to. If I'm going to bet Minnesota in game 1, I'm taking them on the money line, period. Because if they don't win that game, I don't know that they're going to win this series. Even if they get a split in game 2, it doesn't matter because it's not like Denver can't walk into Minnesota and win a basketball game. So winning game 1 and putting pressure on Denver is everything for Minnesota. You're not going to scare this Denver team. You're not going to threaten them. They've been through the rigors. They've won an NBA championship. This is why this stuff matters. It's up to Minnesota to get over the top of the mountain here. Denver's already done that. So they have the experience in their back pocket. I mean, we all love Anthony Edwards and what he's done, but beating the Suns is not the same as beating the Nuggets. No disrespect to Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal. They're not at the same level, particularly defensively, as the Nuggets.
All right, little baseball tonight. We got the Dodgers, Yamamoto on the hill against Arizona. That interest you, or any other games that are going on right now?
I took the Nationals on the run line. I don't really get into like I've held to a maximum this year. I'm not paying past 140 on anything. Not going more than minus 140. It's just not worth it to me. Period. I did today at minus 142, and the crazy part is I should have waited because Texas has been taking money all afternoon long. This thing was like minus 155, went off at minus 180. By the time first pitch was around, I probably could have got a better number. But, after Texas scoring 7 runs last night, look, Andrew Heaney is a dumpster fire. He's got an ERA over 6, and he's averaging only 3 runs of support, and the Rangers have lost all 5 starts that he's made this year. So, the Nationals look like a really favorable play to me tonight. And then I took the Guardians team total over 3.5 here. I know Verlander's on the mound, which is tough, but if the Guardians can get a run, maybe 2 off Verlander, that Astros bullpen is hot garbage. It is a flaming, steaming pile of dog poo in a paper bag on somebody's front lawn. And I think the Guardians will have a shot here. When I see that 3.5 number, my eyes light up because it's so hard to keep a team under 4 runs.
And he's not going to go much more than 6 innings anyway, right?
Right. They should get at least 9 outs from the bullpen.
Yeah. So, all right, we'll keep an eye on that. Nationals up 1-0 over the Rangers, who are still favorites at minus 136 heading to the bottom of the third. Mark, great job as always. Let's cash some tickets, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, fellas.
Yeah, there you go. Mark Zeno here on the grid. More scores coming up next.
So I turned it off. I got my sweat done, and I'm leaving. I'm taking my money. I'm going home, and I don't want to talk to you for the rest.
Oh, yes!
There it is.
6-3. Cast the over. The over is hit. The Padres are our heroes.
That's how we end the show. That's how we end the show.
Oh, what? Let's just sign off. Let's just call it a show.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Quotes coming out about Embiid. Oh, he's a warrior. You'll never get him off the court. You're just telling me he's an injury. He's one slip and fall away from what's not seeing him anymore in this series.
I would have sat him because there was only 1 day between the 2 games. It's 2 days between games 2 and games 3, and it's 2 days between games 3 and game 4.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. In-game live, prime time here on the grid. 44 past the hour. Scott Wetzel, Matt Perrault in for Dave Sherapan as we talk to you right up until 10 p.m. Eastern time. Thanks again to Mark Zeno for joining us. You catch him here Sunday nights from 10 to midnight, I do believe it is. Depending on, maybe it's 8 to 10, but it's Sunday nights. We were at the half, Boston, and what's the deal? It's Sunday night. Just turn him on. He's here. By 20, 68 to 46, by 22, Matt.
Mark's my
23.5 is our number, and then 211.5 is our total, which is a little surprising. They're giving you a less than 100-point second half total. They clearly don't think Miami's going to score. I guess I'm assuming that's what they're thinking, right?
Yeah, what do the boys say? 1, 2, 3, Cancun. That's what Miami is doing at the moment. At halftime, yeah. They're on the phone, or they're texting their travel agents. They're saying, "Okay, I need to be in this beach at this time in 2 days. Make it happen." So yeah, Miami has no interest in playing in this game. They're down big. Boston wants to close it out and get some rest before they take on most likely the Indiana Pacers. So. Although, you know what, though? It's kind of hard to say that because the Milwaukee Bucks looked really good last night, and it's incredible what Doc Rivers does with a bunch of scrubs. Like, he's really good. Milwaukee became the first team in NBA history to win a playoff game without their top 2 leading scorers on the floor. Like that's pretty impressive, right?
That's what, I heard them say that, man. It's like, there's not many times you don't have your top 2 scorers in the postseason, I guess. I'd like to know how many times the possibility was there, but I got to think somewhere along the line somebody else has won. I mean, we're not talking a series, one game.
Right. I don't know. I mean, that's just...
How about the Lakers team? How about the Lakers when they didn't have Kareem? Who was their second leading scorer? Did he play? When Magic filled in at center his rookie season? There's got to be another team. There has to be top.
I don't know. I mean, I just go by what the stat experts put out there, but that was what the stat was this morning, that Doc Rivers became the first coach to have a team win a playoff game with his top 2 scorers. And I was like, okay, that's something Doc can hang his hat on because, well, they fired the guy who was 30-13 to bring in Doc Rivers. So you need something to say why Doc is coming back next year. And you're not going to have Giannis coming up the rest of the series. It sounds like Lillard's going to be out as well. So, I mean, they played really well last night against Indiana, and the Pacers just looked lost. I mean, I think they forgot they got to play basketball. You can't just show up and win. You got to actually go and play. I mean, they got routed yesterday. So I'd be curious to see if they're able to close their series out. And look, as a Celtics fan, I'd rather play Indiana personally. But the Bucks without Giannis and without Lillard, I mean, what's that number going to be for Boston? They're going to be a gigantic favorite up against the Bucks if they don't have Giannis or Damian Lillard, at least for the first couple of games of the series. So I still lean towards Indiana, and they're a fun team. They're probably a year or 2 away from being a really serious contender. But Halliburton can get cooking and get going, and they'll win a couple of games against Boston. That won't be a sweep. Boston will definitely lose a couple of games against Indiana. If we get there. If it's Milwaukee, I mean, Doc Rivers and everything else, that's a really kind of an interesting storyline.
It is amazing how things have really worked out for the Celtics, right? I mean, you have Embiid in a whole bunch of trouble, down in Philadelphia. He's a walking injury. You're going to face Cleveland or Orlando in the next round. You really should be able to handle either one of those 2 teams. Now you got a wounded Bucks team. I mean, facing Miami, their nemesis, but without Jimmy Butler, I am surprised, Matt. That Miami is not playing better. To get whacked one time, okay, it happens in a playoff series. To get whacked the second time, Game 4, okay, at home. I really thought they were going to come out. Like I said, I didn't think they were going to win today, but I did think they were going to come out and play much better. Boston has just dominated these last 3 games from start to finish. I mean, it's been a blowout from the first quarter on for 3 straight games. It makes me think that even if Miami had Jimmy Butler, I mean, how much better would they be? 20 points, 25 points better? This is a 22-point game at halftime, like the games 3 and 4 were.
Yeah, this is just a Jimmy Butler-led Miami Heat team is such like the boogeyman for the Celtics. Like, you see him and you see Eric Spoelstra, and you know what happened last year. You know you went down 3-0. You know you lost Game 7 at home. Like, this was the team that Boston had to get through. And obviously, it's not the same Miami Heat team as last year. But just beating Miami is going to be a huge mental lift for this team just to get to the second round, whether it be Cleveland or Orlando. I don't care. That's a speed bump to me. I'm not even, I don't even care about that series. It's going to be, I'm not worried about either team, no matter who plays. People are like, look out for Cleveland. No, I'm sorry. I'm not worried about Cleveland. I am worried about the bottom of the bracket, though. I think the Knicks, Sixers, Pacers, Bucks, like anyone who comes out of that Boston faces, I think is going to be interesting. I want it to be the Knicks because I want Porzingis to go and have a revenge series against them, because he won't play in the next series, but he'll play in the Eastern Conference Finals most likely. And then we'll see him go to New York and have all the yelling and the crowd and everything else. It'll be a lot of fun if it's Boston and New York for a variety of reasons, if it winds up being that way for the Eastern Conference Finals. But look, Boston, you're right. I mean, the path is there, and the path has been there. I mean, Dave Sherapan and I were going back and forth on this like 2 months ago, going like, buying Celtics exactas, like just buy up all the Celtics exactas. They're going to win the East, and who are they going to play? Minnesota, OKC, Denver, like who's coming out of the West? And there are huge numbers on that. So something dramatically wrong had to happen for Boston not to get to the finals. And now it's gotten even easier for the Celtics.
Yeah. 23.5. They're giving you a little boost if you want. Celtics to win by 31 or more, plus 250. Here's what I'm thinking, though. Like, they may not end up winning by 31, but will the point spread get to 31? Because if you bet Boston now at plus 250, if the point spread gets to 31, then you take Miami plus to 31 to cover your original bet on Boston winning at plus 250, and you got yourself a free bet.
I'd be careful with the fourth quarter. Boston is notorious for just stopping. They just quit the fourth quarter. So Miami might make it look a little prettier than what it is right now. I mean, they may go down by 30, but lose by 15.
Right. But again, if you put $10, we'll just say, on the Celtics to win by 31 to win 25, if you can get the point spread to be 31 in the third quarter, you put $15 on Miami, you're going to either win $15 over here or $25 over there, and you can't lose. That's the key.
Can't lose.
Interesting.
So I turned it off. I got my sweat done, and I'm leaving. I'm taking my money. I'm going home, and I don't want to talk to you for the rest.
Oh, yes!
There it is.
6-3. Catch the over. The over is hit. The Padres are our heroes.
That's how we end the show. That's how we end the show.
Oh, what? Let's just sign off. Let's just call it a show.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Quotes coming out about Embiid. Oh, he's a warrior. You'll never get him off the court. You're just telling me he's an injury. He's one slip and fall away from what's not seeing him anymore in this series.
I would have sat him because there was only 1 day between the two games. It's 2 days between games 2 and games 3, and it's 2 days between games 3 and game 4.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, prime time here on the grid. Hour number 1. Scott Wetzel, Matt Perrault for another hour and 5 minutes or so. NBA, NHL, little baseball we'll touch on as well, including our Black Cloud play right now. Yes, this is the play that we just absolutely love. Double your bet. $10 player, make it 20. $100 player, make it 200. And you know how it goes from that point on. Cannot lose. Famous words in the books of Vegas, right? We talked a little bit about it before. Dallas laying 2.5, 3, depending on where you do your shopping against the Clippers. Perfect bounce back spot, zigzag spot. Dallas played like garbage last game, game 4 at home. I think they're the better team. No Kawhi Leonard for the Clippers tonight. So give me Dallas. Mavericks 18-6 straight up and against the spread. Their last 24 games, they're played well to close out the regular season. Clips only 12-25 against the spread last 37 games, including 7-18 against winning teams. That's why the fact that this is a 2-2 series is so surprising to me. So that said, throw it all out the window. Give me Dallas, Matt, laying to 2.5 or even 3.5 if you have to. I think Dallas wins by double digits tonight.
Yeah, look, they need to. I mean, after what happened, I mean, you go down by 31, you come all the way back, and you can't finish the job. I mean, the Clippers avoid history being the team that blows the biggest lead ever in a playoff game, and they were able to withstand the run and come back. If Dallas plays the way they played in the second half, you got to like Dallas big in this game here tonight, but they can't go down big. They got to get their act together. And look, without Kawhi Leonard, I think Mark Zinno's onto something, though. I think the over in this game is decent. Over 208.5. I like Russell Westbrook over 8.5 points. I like the game to go over. I think we're going to see more offense than what the books are expecting here tonight at 208.5. And I know this has been an under series, but it's mostly been because of blowouts. If both teams are going here tonight, this game should relatively go over with ease at 208.5. So I'm with you, though. I do think Dallas wins. I think Dallas plays well. We've seen the number go up to as high as 3.5. It's come back down to 3 at certain books, but I'm comfortable with one possession laying with Dallas.
Yeah, I think we're going to get some points, too. You know, you're right. It's been an under series, and both teams, even Dallas, believe it or not, very, very strong under numbers. 42-19 under their last 61 games. But, you know, that's sometimes you got to throw these numbers out the window because they're not really relevant. And the numbers of 42-19 are not numbers that posted at 208 or 209 or 207 like they are now. I mean, these numbers have been adjusted so low. This series started out in the 218s, 217s. They've taken basically a good 10 points off the total, and that's a big difference. So, you know, some guys just love trends, and I like trends. So, you know, I'll admit I fall into that boat. But sometimes you just got to say, all right, these trends are not relevant to what the numbers we're getting right now. They're just not.
Right. Scott, some quick breaking news in the boxing world. If you follow this, Ryan Garcia tested positive for a PED the day before and the day of the fight against Devin Haney. That's a letter that was put out by VADA. It was obtained by ESPN. So Garcia's got 10 days to request a B sample to be tested, but that is not good for Ryan Garcia, whose purse very well might be on the line there for testing positive for a PED. He couldn't win the belts anyway because he missed weight, but coming in 3 pounds over and now testing positive for a PED, which he's claiming like they all do. He's claiming it was part of a supplement he took. He didn't know what he was taking, so it was a supplement, but that's a double black eye for Ryan Garcia. Yeah, he won the fight, but he came in 3 pounds over, and now it looks like he's going to get popped for a PED. So just a really bad situation for boxing because that was that whole fight lead up was weird. And then Haney did not perform well at all in that fight. Garcia wins, but now he's getting tested positive for a PED. So that fight goes from bad to worse in the aftermath of it.
Yeah, I remember that. You know, why would they not? Maybe they did. Did they take a test after the fight? I'm assuming that's the one he failed. But wouldn't they take a test right before the fight, you know, a day or two, and wouldn't they get the results of that? How's that work, Matt? You know?
He tested positive before and day of. So he was tested. He tested positive before the fight, and he tested day of the fight. So those results take time to come back. So that's it. You hear it after the fact because they send it to a lab. The lab does full screening. They do the fight, and then afterwards it comes back, and the guy loses the belt or loses his fight. So this will be declared a no contest on the records because of this once they do, if it is confirmed that he was using a PED.
So he fails the fight. He fails the weight. And didn't he lose like $150,000 bet that he would come in underweight, and he didn't? So he lost that as well. He lost everything except the actual fight, which he was able to win $600,000. Wow.
And he bet on himself. You bet big, $2 million to win 12.
So I turned it off. I got my sweat done, and I'm leaving. I'm taking my money. I'm going home, and I don't want to talk to you for the rest.
Oh, yes!
There it is.
6-3. Catch the over. The over is hit. The Padres are our heroes.
That's how we end the show.
Oh, what? Let's just sign off. Let's just call it a show.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Quotes coming out about Embiid. Oh, he's a warrior. You'll never get him off the court. You're just telling me he's an injury. He's one slip and fall away from not seeing him anymore in this series.
I would have sat him because there was only 1 day between the two games. It's 2 days between games 2 and games 3, and it's 2 days between games 3 and game 4.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in-game live, prime time here on the grid. Scott Wetzel and Matt Perrault. So this is what I was kind of talking about last segment. So at halftime, they offered a bet, at least FanDuel did, Celtics to win by 31 plus 250, right? And I said, if the Celtics can get the point spread up to 31, then you just bet Miami. Well, lo and behold, Matt, Celtics come out flying to start the second half. Their lead is now 30. And the point spread is 30.5. So it's not quite 31.5. So, it could land on 31. But the winning bet is 31. So you'd win the bet. So if you did that, you got a ticket on the Celtics to win by 31 plus 250. Now you bet Miami plus 30.5. And the only way you lose that, right, is if the Celtics win by 31, which means you win the other bet. So just to make it nice and simple, if you're a $100 bettor, you got 100 to win 250 on the Celtics at 31 points, and now you bet 150 on Miami at plus 30.5. Knowing if you lose that, then you cash the other ticket. So you win yourself at least $50 either way.
I like it a lot because I'm telling you, the fourth quarter is going to be a bugaboo for Boston. Like, they're just not going to keep this up. Like, they're going to blitz them in the third quarter, and then they're going to throw the white flag up in the fourth quarter. And I think if you laid the 14, 15 points on Boston, I think you could be in for a sweat. I mean, Boston generally doesn't destroy teams like this. I mean, it's 76-46. I mean, this is a 30-point game in a playoff game. I mean, they are running the Heat out of town at the moment. So my gut is Boston will start to run out some of their backup players. They'll start to rest Jaylen Brown and Derek White, and then you'll see a little bit of a run from a pride perspective for the Miami Heat. So I like your play a lot because at least you can kick your heels up. You don't have to worry about the fourth quarter because I do think Boston, I mean, look, this is entering like historic territory. I mean, in a closeout game, Derek White just got fouled shooting a three. I mean, like, everything is going wrong for the Miami Heat. They're down 30 and they're fouling three-point shooters. Like, this is, I don't know what Boston's largest margin of victory in a closeout game is, but this game is going to be in competition to set a record for the Celtics.
They set a record for most points in a playoff first half. The Celtics did with their 60, whatever it was. I saw that on the TV.
68.
Here. I mean, 68. I got to tell you, Eric Spoelstra was terrific, right? Really one of the best head coaches. But, man, I got to tell you, if this was any other coach, they would be getting killed. You're going to get blown out 3 straight games. All right, listen, you lost Jimmy Butler. No excuse. You won game 2. I don't know how the heck they won game 2, man. But they won game 2. We got Milwaukee last night winning. We got the Clippers winning without Kawhi. Jimmy Butler, to me, he's a great terrific player. I won't say great. He's a terrific player, but he's not Kawhi. He's not Damian Lillard. He's not that good that they should be this bad without him, right? For 3 games?
It's fair. I mean, I think the Spoelstra comment in Miami is legitimate. I mean, watching and reading some of the stuff down in Miami, Heat fans are not happy about this. They're pretty frustrated. And yes, Spoelstra has the resume and he has the record and he has what he has done with the Miami Heat. But there's a lot of Heat fans who are saying the exact same thing that you are. Like, wait a minute. Like, you got to be competitive. Like, you can't just lay down. 2 games at home, you get blasted. You go on the road back to Boston, and now it's an embarrassing performance. I mean, you're getting literally run off the floor right now, and you look like you want to be anywhere else but playing defense against the Boston Celtics at the moment. So, yeah, I think there's something to it. He won't get fired, but there's definitely some anger in Miami about the way the Heat season is going to end.
It's funny, hockey. You and I both said, under, and you specifically, give you all the credit. You said, under second period's not a bad play, Vegas and Dallas, right? It was 2-2 after 1. I mean, 4 goals. It's just every 5 minutes we turn around, there was another goal, literally, right? So I looked it up, man. I said, you know what? You're right, because it's got to come back to the pack, right? So they gave us, I told you, 1.5. And I'm like, I can't bet under 1.5. I mean, these guys, they never miss a beat, right? And I don't want to go over, but I can't bet the under. They scored 4 goals in the first period. How's they only going to have 1 goal second period? Well, here we are, 5 minutes left, and we have no goals in the second period. And that under 1.5, which was plus odds, is looking pretty good, right?
Yeah, it's just a weird thing with hockey that if the first period goes over, the second period tends to go under, and you flip it, where if the first period goes under, the second period goes over. It's just the way that hockey goes. The one worry, and I think it's right by you to worry about it, is the long change during the second period. Sometimes teams get lost, and sometimes teams have bad line changes, and it puts them in a bad spot, and they can give up goals. So Vegas looks sloppy. Aiden Hill looked rusty. He's looked much better in the second period. He's got the defense blocking shots in front of him. The energy is sort of slowed down a little bit for the Dallas Stars, and Vegas is back to playing their brand of hockey. So third period, I don't hate an overplay on the third period. I mean, there may be a chance to get in there at 1.5 or 2 potentially on the book, but normally what happens is first period high scoring, second period not high scoring, third period can be high scoring or at least over 1.5 goals. Both teams score 1. It's 3-3. We go to overtime. It's kind of how this game is trending.
Yeah. I've seen this happen many times. I mean, if you're holding on to an under 5.5 ticket, don't rip it up just yet. I mean,
right.
you would have thought first period, forget about it, right? But you do have games like that end up somehow or another 3-2, whether it's overtime or just 3-2 in regulation. I would say about 13 minutes left in the third.
Well, here's the
I'd
thing,
like
though,
really
Scott.
start to have hope.
I only know this because I've bet many games with the Vegas Golden Knights. Bruce Cassidy almost chastises his team not to shoot at the open net. Like if Vegas scores and it's 3-2, they don't shoot at it's the weirdest thing. Like Dave and I've literally been on the phone with Sherapan screaming at my TV set going, why aren't you shooting at the open net? It's an open net. Shoot at the open net, and they just don't do it. It's weird with the Vegas Golden Knights. It's a philosophy thing with Bruce Cassidy. He does not like his players to get out of position trying to score an open net. He'd rather keep them in the defensive end and not extend themselves. So if Vegas is up 3-2 and you have an under 5.5 ticket, you should feel very good about that. Just hold on to that ticket because you very well might get there without the open net.
Wow, that would be amazing. That really would be amazing. Nice job by the Red Sox last night. It didn't dawn on me, but they brought back my all-time favorite player growing up as a kid, Captain Carl Yastrzemski. You got nephew Mike with the San Francisco Giants in town, and had a nice little ceremonial first pitch and a hug and all that other stuff. He's been a little bit of a recluse, over the years. Carl, the uncle, but that was nice to see last night.
We can take it full circle if you want. So Mike Yastrzemski is from Andover, Mass., which I'm from Andover, Mass. My brother played AAU baseball with Mike growing up for years. Oh. So we have watched Mike Yastrzemski in my family. We have watched him forever. And when he first came up, he was really struggling. Like, he did not look like a guy that was going to stick with the big leagues. And then about 2 or 3 years into his career in the majors, things clicked and he really got to the Giants, and things have been really good with him with the Giants. So it's always really fun when you see him come back, and the Giants play at Fenway Park way more now than ever before because of the interleague play schedule now. So it's cool to have him come back. And you're right, Carl's not been a guy that's been seen all that much around the Red Sox. So to see him come back and to watch Mike play, and the Red Sox played really well last night with a 4-0 victory. So Red Sox ERA, Scott, if I told you at spring training that they have the best ERA in baseball on May 1st, would you have believed it?
No, definitely not. I like their young pitching staff, but no, not at all. And I thought San Fran tonight. Yeah, right. And I thought San Fran tonight was a live dog. Cutter Crawford 2-12 at Fenway Park, and yet they're winning tonight 5-2.
Yeah, look, Andrew Bailey's. I mean, whatever they're paying him from a pitching coach perspective, first year ever being the pitching coach for the Red Sox, has completely changed the way the team pitches. A lot more off-speed stuff, not a lot of fastballs, and guys are swinging and missing. They're having this is a fastball league, and the Red Sox are throwing a whole lot of junk ball stuff this year, and their ERA is under 2.8. It's ridiculous with the way they're pitching, and their offense is so banged up, but the pitching's there.
Yeah, listen, they're not great. Man, right? But listen, I got a little bit more hope this year than I had last year. Last year, I just didn't have any hope at all, and it turned out that way. This year, be competitive, and that's what they are, 4 games over 500. So, all right, quick break, back to all the scores, InGame Live Prime Time.
So I turned it off. I got my sweat done, and I'm leaving. I'm taking my money. I'm going home, and I don't want to talk to you the rest.
Oh, yes!
There it is.
6-3. Catch the over. The over is hit. The Padres are our heroes.
That's how we end the show.
Oh, what? Let's just sign off. Let's just call it a show.
InGame Live, Prime Time, only on SportsGrid.
Quotes coming out about Embiid. Oh, he's a warrior. You'll never get him off the court. You're just telling me he's an injury. He's one slip and fall away from what's not seeing him anymore in this series.
I would have sat him because there was only 1 day between the 2 games. It's 2 days between games 2 and games 3, and it's 2 days between games 3 and game 4.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. InGame Live, Prime Time here on the grid. Checking out all the scores. Scott Wetzel, Matt Perrault. Just to recap real quickly, NBA is just a complete blowout. Celtics late third quarter, 91-60. You got the 28.5 points is your line, 211 is your total with just under 3 minutes left, 2:43 left to go. It's basically unbettable. You can't do the props. Most of the starters are already on the bench. Dallas did score a power play goal moments ago, so they have grabbed a 3-2 lead over Vegas as they played late second period. Dallas minus 560. Wow, that's a big number. Vegas down 1 goal, plus 370 in the second period. That's worth a flyer to me. And then the over-under is 7.5. So I would say now it's down to plus 285, 300. Still, they're giving you pretty good price. Hockey's great in-game live betting, Matt. I'd say some of the numbers they do give you, you're down 1 goal. I mean, it's the second period, and they're giving you 3-1. This was a minus 150, plus 120 game to start. I mean, 1 goal makes it that much more advantageous for the favorite. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think also because the total for the game was 5.5, so it's a 3-2 lead for Dallas. So I think the books are basically saying that Vegas won't score again. So if Vegas scores, it's 3-3, we're tied, or if Dallas scores, it's 4-2, and that number just really balloons even greater. But you're right, it's a 1-goal game. We have a whole third period still to come, but with it being 5.5, you wonder how that, and Dallas being at home and with Ottinger at home and how they've played at home. I mean, those first 2 games were anomalies. I think they were the best or one of the best home teams all year, Dallas was. So to lose both games on home ice, that was really surprising. And now Vegas is looking at maybe 3 consecutive losses here in this series, and they'll come back to Vegas trying to save their season. Remember, Vegas chose this. They lost the last game to end the regular season to play Dallas because they were 3-0. Going into this series this season. They won the first 2 games. They were 5-0, but since they've lost 2 and they're looking at maybe 3 here consecutive losses, so they'd go to 5-3. It's the same thing with the Bruins. The Bruins lost their last 2 games of the regular season to play Toronto. They won first 3 out of 4, and now they've lost yesterday. Sometimes it's be careful what you wish for. You got to be careful about choosing your opponent. If you don't get it done, that brings a lot of criticism because, hey, you guys picked these guys and yet you still lost to them. So the pressure is squarely on the shoulders of the Golden Knights right now, trying to tie this game up at 3.
Yeah. As far as the Bruins, I know that, Tampa Bay's been their bugaboo, but, if you're championship worthy, like the Bruins no doubt think they are, you got to think big picture. And the big picture is, all right, we're going to beat whoever we're going to face in the first round. We would have home ice advantage over Florida in the second round, and by then losing those games, that they won't. So, that could be big. Baseball, how about the Cubs? I know I'm going to butcher his name. Shota Imanaga, is that how you pronounce it?
Imanaga,
Imanaga, right? Yeah. Another great performance tonight, Matt. 7 innings, 3 hits, shutout baseball. The dude is 4-0, might be 5-0 as the Cubs lead the Mets 1-0. His ERA coming in was 0.98. Not many times you could have an ERA under 1, pitch and lower it, but that's what the guy is going to do. He had been just everything. He didn't get that much hype, but he has been unbelievable. And some of these, this is the 3rd straight road game. Fenway Park, Hitters Ballpark. Seattle, not really hitter's ballpark, but he's faced the Dodgers. I mean, he's faced a decent hitting Mets team. And guys allowed 3 earned runs in 6 starts. 6 starts.
It's true.
And that's amazing.
Yeah. Imanaga's been very, very good. So I was at the Dodgers and the Cubs series, the Cubs game. I was there over the first weekend of April. Dave was at the Pirates in A's game today. Dave and I are going to the Pirates and Cubs at Wrigley in a couple of weeks in Chicago.
Oh, great ballpark.
So I was my two trips to Wrigley this year. It's a first time in my life I've gone to Wrigley twice in 1 year. But I bet the over 84.5 wins for Chicago, hoping that Imanaga was going to be this type of guy at the top of the rotation, and he's been better than Yamamoto. Now we got a whole year to go, but Imanaga has been better than Yamamoto. And so you've got a lineup that even though they're dealing with some injuries, they're scoring enough. It's 1-0 right now. Not a big offensive night, but they've got 1. Mets have got none. they're 8-9 on the road, trying to go to 9-9 on the road, and we haven't hit the warmer part of the year where the Cubs are going to hit when they get to Wrigley. So if I'm a Cub fan, I'm jumping up and down at this start. I feel ecstatic about getting 18 wins here on May the 1st, and maybe 19 wins once May 1st is over, given what the outlook was for the season.
Yeah. I had my doubts about them, but knowing that he's going to come through, if he's not going to pitch like this the whole year, but you got to count on him. They have a decent little starting rotation. They're not a bad little club, in a bad division, right? That it's there clearly for the taking for some team to emerge. I'm starting to buy into the Cubs, a little bit more. So 1-0 tonight.
Yeah.
Bottom 8.
If you want
they got it locked up.
If you want a baseball play, speaking of Yamamoto, he's been tremendous on the road. He's actually been kind of bad at home, but on the road, he's only given up 1 run in 2 starts, under 4.5 runs in the first 5 today. It was minus 110 on both sides when I bet it. Montgomery's a lefty. Lefties tend to give the Dodgers some trouble, and Montgomery's been decent. It's his first home start for the D-backs here. He's had 2 starts, both on the road. So under 4.5, maybe, he gives up 3, 3-0, 3-1 after 5. Under 4.5 is a play I made on the Dodgers and the D-backs first 5.
All right, there you go. They throw the first pitch here in a little while, so you can still get that in. I like that. Nationals still 1-0 over the Texas Rangers, believe it or not. They play bottom of the 6th inning. The line's down to pick 'em now. Nationals team, some of the teams I thought were going to be awful, whether it's Oakland, Washington, Matt, you really have to be bad to lose to mediocre teams. I don't think those teams are going to be bad. I think Colorado will. I think Miami will, but I don't know if Washington will be or Oakland.
No, I agree. I mean, Oakland probably winds up with like 80, 75 wins, somewhere in that category, but I'm telling you, the White Sox and the Marlins and some of these bad teams
Rockies
are going to be historically bad. White Sox historically bad.
Yeah, they are just like, whoa. All right, in-game live, primetime continues here in a second.
So I turned it off. I got my sweat done, and I'm leaving. Taking my money. I'm going home, and I don't want to talk to you for the rest.
Oh, yes!
There it is.
6-3. Catch the over. The over is hit. The Padres are our heroes.
That's how we end the show.
Oh, what? Let's just sign off. Let's just call it a show.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Quotes coming out about Embiid. Oh, he's a warrior. You'll never get him off the court. You're just telling me he's an injury. He's one slip and fall away from what's not seeing him anymore in this series.
I would have sat him because there was only 1 day between the 2 games. It's 2 days between games 2 and games 3, and it's 2 days between games 3 and game 4.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. In-game live, prime time here on the grid. Scott Wetzel, Matt Perrault for the next 35 minutes or so. We got Cam Stewart in about 15. We'll do some golf, some hockey stuff with him. In the meantime, got just the one NBA game going on. We got one more starting in a little bit after this Celtic game, which has just turned into an embarrassment for the Miami Heat. Right now, after 3, getting set to start the 4th, obviously 98-66. Yikes, 32 points. 30.5 is your point. It's not even fun. I mean, I love doing this show, Matt, but I mean, really, can you look yourself in the mirror by suggesting, yeah, man, you really should take Miami and every now? I mean, I do kind of think that they're going to make a little bit of a run, and they always do, but I mean, it's comical what they're putting out there right now. And the over-under is 210.5, which is about 10 points more than it was to start the game. So it's how many ways can you say it? Miami just didn't show up for this series after game 2. Amazing.
Again, if you bet the over this game, I don't think you're in the free and clear yet, though.
Not yet.
I think you got to be sweating this just a little bit to see what Boston does and who is going to play for the Celtics here in the 4th quarter. It looks like Jason Tatum's night's over. He's on the bench with a sweatshirt, so it looks like he's done. Tatum or Brown should be next. Then you'd think Derek White. Like by the time we get like the 6-minute mark and that 6-minute media timeout, I don't think there'll be any starters on the court for the Boston Celtics. Sometimes that helps overs. Sometimes it hurts. Depends upon what we're going to see from Miami. Does Eric Spoelstra wave the white flag and it turns into an AAU game? Then the game will fly over. But if he says, no, we're playing our starters, they may cut into the lead and Boston's scoring might slow down dramatically.
Yeah. For those that like to play props, Jaylen Brown over 24.5, he hits it. Barely. Nice. 25 points. How about that? This was a dangerous game at the bet props with Boston because the potential was there for a blowout. And the potential is, blowout, you guys are going to sit the 4th quarter and you're not going to get your numbers and you spread the offense. And one thing I noticed about the Celtics is in these blowouts, like to their credit, I guess, Brown and Tatum, they don't just like hoist shots up there to get 40 points and leading by 30 or 35. They either defer or they sit the bench and they get like 18, 19 points and let the other guys score. So that's what happened with Tatum. Holiday only had 10. White, I tell you, I'm impressed. I didn't expect 38. But I did think he was going to come back to the pack. His number was only 16.5, and I didn't play the under, but I was looking to. But I figured out with Porzingis, and he came through with another 25. I mean, that's back-to-back performances from Derek White. Boy, I tell you, if they do get this kind of performance out of him every game, then they really will be a tough out. That'll we're all looking forward to that Denver-Boston series if it ends up being that way.
Yeah, everybody's looking. I mean, everybody's talking about the big two, about Tatum, about Brown, and they do not talk enough about Derek White. And if you hear Boston players and coaches talk about who the most valuable player on that team is, yes, Tatum's incredible, okay? But Derek White is absolutely the linchpin for this entire thing to work because he's so good defensively. He's great offensively. But defensively, him and Holiday on the court together, it's as good of a backcourt there is in the NBA, and it does not get talked about nearly as much because of the defense that Boston can play. And they're going to need it against certain teams. Brunson comes to mind. If they do play the Knicks, you can't let Brunson go crazy. And unfortunately for the Sixers, they've allowed that to happen here. And then, okay, they won the last game. Maxey hits a logo 3 to go to overtime. But, I mean, Boston has depth, but they have a couple of really good players, Horford being one and White being the other, that do not get the credit nationally for how good they are.
Does it matter who they face next round, Orlando and Cleveland? No. I'd have to look and see at the season records. I know Orlando last year, believe it or not, gave them fits. I remember them just sweeping a back-to-back series at Boston right after the All-Star break. I remember that, but
Boston's 2-1 against. Yeah, they're 2-1 against Cleveland. They're 2-1. I think Mitchell only played in one of the games that they played, and they beat Boston late in the year without Donovan Mitchell in Boston. I think Boston won both games in Cleveland. Cleveland won the game in Boston. It was like 105-104. It was like a last-second victory for Cleveland. But I'm not worried. Like Cleveland, Orlando, this Boston team is on a different level than anybody else in the East. And look, those are young basketball teams, so they're going to have their time at some point. It's just not this year against the Celtics, especially with Boston having home court. Boston should win game 1, win game 2. Maybe they lose game 3.
What do you think the odds will be?
Boston minus 4,000.
Yeah, right?
Massive.
It's going to be something crazy.
Yeah, Boston's going to be a massive favorite. They're going to be a massive favorite. They were as big as Miami.
Yeah. Unbettable, basically. Basically, as Dave likes to say, the FU number. We don't want your money bet on Boston.
Yes.
Simple as that.
Yes, go away. Go away.
So I turned it off. I got my sweat done, and I'm leaving. I'm taking my money. I'm going home, and I don't want to talk to you for the rest.
Oh, yes!
There it is.
6-3. Catch the over. The over is hit. The Padres are our heroes.
That's how we end the show. That's how we end the show.
Oh, what? Let's just sign off. Let's just call it a show.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Quotes coming out about Embiid. Oh, he's a warrior. You'll never get him off the court. You're just telling me he's an injury. He's one slip and fall away from what's not seeing him anymore in this series.
I would have sat him because there was only 1 day between the two games. It's 2 days between games 2 and games 3, and it's 2 days between games 3 and game 4.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Nine. All right, welcome back, In-Game Live, Prime Time. We're just going over the numbers, talking about bad beats, right? One clank after another. 101-71. The game's not in doubt. We're talking more just whether it's going to go over, under, Matt. 200.5, 201, and that was the total going in. You need 29 points in 7.5 minutes, and the way they're going, and the FanDuel number is 200.5. We haven't had a point in about 2 minutes, and we haven't even come close to a basket. Let's put it this way. When 90% of the people on a court are white, you know you're in a lot of trouble here. We got a bunch of scrubs, in the game that doesn't, even, get to sit on the bench, let alone be in the game. This is not going over.
I told you this during the break. I've seen this so many times with the Boston Celtics when they're in blowouts. We're at 172 right now from a total perspective, and we've got 7 minutes to play. I was like, look, the live total was 210.5. I was like, if you have an over ticket, I wouldn't feel great about it just because I've seen what Boston will do. They will stop playing in the fourth quarter, even with the starters in the game. Boston tends to just get bored. And they stop scoring, they stop playing defense, and Miami can't score either. So even with Boston not playing defense, it doesn't matter because Miami can't score. They can't hit threes, they can't hit layups. Like, I don't know how many points in the fourth quarter does Miami have. Miami currently has, let me see here. 5 points. 5 points. We've played over 5 minutes. We played over 5 minutes. It's 5-4. With 6:43 to play, 6:18 to play. There's a bucket or a free throw for Boston. So it's 105-71 at the moment here. as we get to see whether or not Boston cares enough. I'm serious. This is, if you bet over 199.5, over 200, this is a game you thought you were good. This is where live betting comes in so dramatically, where if you're feeling good about a game, bet under. Like if you're over 200 and you see 210, 212, 215, that middle, that 15-point middle, you almost have to do that. So you don't sit here and go, oh my gosh, I lost because these teams just stopped playing.
Yeah. And Celtics are playing defense, right? You want to yell at the TV set, say, what are you doing? You're up 34. You're playing like tight man-to-man defense, like it's a 4-point game in the final 3 minutes. Just play off them, will you please?
Because, Scott, these are guys who are playing for contracts. These are guys who are putting tape on. They know coaches are watching. These dudes don't play for Boston. These guys want to go play somewhere next year. They're on 1-year contracts. They're on 2-way deals. These are players who are desperate. They're in a playoff game, for goodness sakes. Yeah, they're going to play hard.
National
they got
TV.
A chance to go. Yes.
Yeah.
This is it.
Mom,
their girlfriends and moms are watching right now. They're like, oh my gosh, put the TV on. And if this isn't a great advertisement for the legalization of sports betting across this country, this is why. Because there's no reason to watch this game. Zero reason to watch this game other than the total. So everyone watching this game right now on TNT, every executive at TNT has got to be kissing their lucky stars that they've got people watching because of the total. Because this game has been over pretty much since the end of the first quarter.
Yeah. Celtics by 35 now. If you got that 31 point plus 250 ticket, you're looking pretty good. You don't even have to hedge, believe it or not. So all right, so we got 110. So we got 185. So we had a little bit of a spurt there of 3 threes. So we need 15 points. 16. We need 201. 16 points in 5 minutes and 20 seconds.
I think you're probably going to be okay.
Should be able to get that.
It's going to come down to whether they're jacking threes or going for twos. For hitting layups, I think you're going to get it. If you're going to rely on 3-point shooting, you better hope they hit them, because that has.
Yeah, and Matt, you got there's 5:20 left, but you got to tell yourself final minute. I've seen both teams run out the play clock, 25 seconds, your ball, run out the play clock, 25 seconds, let's get out of here. So that the final minute, you might not get any possession. So we really got 4 minutes to get 15 points.
Right. And,
so,
this is a closeout game on top of that, right? So this is a closeout. So, this is a handshake line game. So this is just get us to the locker room and get on the plane and back to Miami, because tomorrow we have to have the exit press conference, the exit interviews, pack up our stuff, and we'll see you at training camp. So, yeah, Miami will want to get out of here. They won't want to hang around. If they can dribble the clock out, they absolutely will dribble the clock out, down 110 to 75 in the fourth quarter of a closeout game.
Life on the line, and that's what they produced.
35-point margin. I mean, again, I want to know what the biggest margin of victory for a Boston Celtics team in a closeout game was, because this is going to be close. I can't remember a butt kicking like this in a closeout game.
They beat Philadelphia pretty bad. What was it? Was it last year or 2 years ago? Remember that was. I don't think it was this much. I think I saw 40 points on TV, but I don't think that was a closeout game. So
right. I mean, they've had bigger games in the playoffs, but this is a end your season of your opponent game. Like normally you expect the opponent you're playing with their backs against the wall to go kicking and screaming. These guys are booking airfare at halftime, looking at going somewhere else. This has been Miami has had no interest in this game whatsoever. They scored 23, 23, 20 so far here in the first 3 quarters. They have 9 in the fourth quarter right now. I mean, Boston only has 12.
9 points.
But 9 points with 5 to play here. My goodness gracious. The third period has begun, by the way, in Dallas. So 3-2. Vegas not looking like they're going to – they need to – obviously next goal wins the game, maybe. It'd be 3-3, but it'd be huge for Vegas to tie this game up. Get it to 3-3 and then have a chance to steal this game, because it's been mostly Dallas here in the first couple of minutes here of the third period.
It's amazing. Yeah, boy, Dallas looked like they couldn't beat Topeka High the first 2 games, And, they're a period away from going up 3-2, which I never would have seen after the first 2 games. Beginning of the series, yes, but first 2 games. But I still think plus 320 on Vegas, down a goal, third period is still a pretty good play. I think that's
true.
worth a shot. They tie the game. That line will come way down, like 200 points, literally.
It's a blowout, so you get a chance to highlight some of the side stories. This will be Mike Gorman's last broadcast for the Boston Celtics. 43 years on the mic.
Wow, he's leaving
calling
too.
Boston.
Wow.
He's retiring. Jack Edwards is retiring, and Mike Gorman are retiring. The voice of the Bruins, voice of the Celtics are both retiring after this round of the playoffs. So the local broadcasting crews get the first round, and then it goes to all national once we get to the next round. So Mike Gorman's last game will be, his last 4 minutes of broadcasting games. I'm 47 years old. Nobody in my lifetime has called a Celtics game other than Mike Gorman. So it's a pretty monumental step away from the microphone for Mike Gorman. Met him a couple of times, but he couldn't be a nicer gentleman. He's, best of luck to him in retirement, but that's a pretty big local story in Boston that Mike Gorman's walking away now.
Yeah, that's a big shakeup, about Jack. I know that Jack's had some health issues, so
yeah.
But between him and Mike, on the TV, on the NBA side of things, it's some big openings there, certainly. So, interesting.
Changing the guard for sure.
Yeah, right. Who's good luck getting that job? That's a great job, huh?
Right, yeah.
How cool that job. That was like my lifetime job growing up. Play-by-play of the Red Sox, really. So, we got a buck at 77. There you go.
Yeah, Dave O'Brien could be a nice. Everyone kind of hates on Dave O'Brien, but Dave O'Brien for the voice of the Red Sox on TV he couldn't be a nicer gentleman. That guy is a saint. He's a really nice guy. He gets a lot of hate and flack from Red Sox fans, unfortunately, but we'll see.
Really?
4 minutes to go. Yeah, because of the Don Orsillo stuff and when Don got let go, and now he's the voice of the Padres.
Right.
So Dave gets a lot of blowback for that, unfortunately.
Right. 4 minutes left. We got 2 points in a minute and a half. Now we're back to
be
sweating
really tight.
again.
187, 13 points in less than 4 minutes.
They took the over-under off. Come on, we need some threes. Where's Hauser?
So I turned it off. I got my sweat done, and I'm leaving. I'm taking my money. I'm going home, and I don't want to talk to you for the rest.
Oh, yes!
There it is.
6-3. Catch the over. The over is hit. The Padres are our heroes.
That's how we end the show.
Oh, well, let's just sign off. Let's just call it a show.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Quotes coming out about Embiid. Oh, he's a warrior. You'll never get him off the court. You're just telling me he's an injury. He's one slip and fall away from not seeing him anymore in this series.
I would have sat him because there was only 1 day between the 2 games. It's 2 days between games 2 and games 3, and it's 2 days between games 3 and game 4.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Who knew you could sweat out a 116-81 basketball game? But that's what Matt and I are doing as we're sitting on the over in this Celtic game with just over a minute and a half left. We need 5 points, 4 points, 3. Ooh, they got another bucket. Oh, we got his shots as we welcome in Cam Stewart. Cam, what's going on, my friend? We got over 200.5 or so, and we've had to sweat this dopey Celtic game out that should have been over a long, long time ago as far as the over-under is concerned. What do you got? You got anything on this game and then Dallas and the LA Clippers later on?
My life should be sponsored by Speed Stick. I'm sweating all the time. I sweat when I wake up. I sweat when I make my first bet. I sweat during a golf tournament. I sweat during a hockey game. Sweat in overtime. Sweat on the set, sweat doing sports rage, constant sweat. This stuff, nothing's easy in gambling, guys. Nothing is easy. Sweating out this hockey game. I got Dallas when they were down 1-0, and we got another one coming up tonight too, guys. The network, we got Live Golf. I got golf picks for you from Singapore and golf picks for you from Texas. So we're all over the world tonight, guys. So let's have some fun. I hope you hit your bet, Wetzel. I have nothing. Just Boston to actually I have exact series win in 5. So just fine.
There you go.
Actually, I've been doing good in the NBA, better than hockey. Oh, here we go, Wetzel.
With 40 seconds left. What are you doing?
This is Wetzel and family line 2. They're watching. Boston. There's the money.
Yeah, I bet first half team total Boston, so I'm good. But I gotta ask you though, Cam, because I got a birdie that told me something. So Sherapen's telling me. You're the one that wanted this expensive jersey. I wanted to do just a quickie, $50 jersey bet. You said, oh, no. We're going authentic. We're going replica. We're going high end. And at 3-1 before last night, Dave's telling me that you're looking at changing the parameters of the bet. So before we hit game 6, what is the bet?
You're right, Matt. There's nothing worse than a guy who welches or changes bets. I'm not welching, but I'll buy a jersey on Amazon and throw you $200 US or something. I don't know. We'll figure out a way to send you money because I've never not paid a debt. But I'll tell you this, my buddy who I do all these shows with, he took the Leafs at 8-1 before the last game. And if they win the next one, he's in a great hedge situation. He told me, he's great, guy too. He works for a guy that actually works for the Maple Leafs. He's like, I'll take Boston in game 7 because, they'll screw it up. The Leafs will screw up. Then Boston has screwed up game 7s too. We got screwed up versus more screwed up. That's the thing. When it comes to 100%. Game 7s, the Leafs are brutal. Boston's pretty bad, but the Leafs are worse because they've lost to Boston, but Boston's lost to Florida. They've lost a lot of game 7. So let's not kid ourselves here. We got the biggest chokers, Toronto versus mini chokers in Boston. So there we go.
0-4, Boston's last 4 closeout games. So we'll see what game 6 is going to look like. But Boston better score first. If they're going to win game 6, they better score first because that building's going to be electric. And if they get Matthews back, it's going to be an
I don't think he's coming back.
Boston.
I don't think he's coming back. They've lost 6 straight in that building. I'm going to be honest with you. They played better without him. This might be the craziest statement I'm going to give you, but a star player, when he's on the ice, they're always looking to him. And I got to be honest with you, I don't want to hurt Matthews playing. Marner played better last game. All those guys played better. Nyes is good. And Wall, let's call it out for what it is. I said this at the start when I was on with you and Dave. He's a better goalie than Samsonov. Why didn't he start the whole series? I've watched both of these guys play for years. I could have told you Wall's better. I'm not the coach of the Leafs, but I know he is. And if they lose with him, you can't blame the goalie even if he has a bad game because they wouldn't even have won the last game without him. Let's call it out for what it is. He saved their ass that last game. He pulled a Swayman. Swayman usually does that to us. We did it to you. So that's basically what we're doing, guys. Where do you guys want to start? You want to start on the ice since we're talking about it, and then we'll go to the link?
I know you got a lot of golf picks, so we have more time. We'll get back to the ice. But bring your golf picks down for us.
Okay, let's start, guys, in the USA with the CJ Cup here being played at the ranch in Texas here. Good tournament, Carver's like it's a bunch of losers playing. I go, Carver, I don't care if they're losers as long as we cash checks and we can't make money. I don't care who's playing. Wetzel, me, and Matt in a 3-ball. I don't care. Let's go. The Swedish Hammer, Alex Noren, loves to play in Texas. Great win player as well, 28-1. I'm coming back to Tom Kim. Carver got him at 40. I only found a 35. Very, very hot player, and I expect them in a weakened field to do well. One, they call me the prime minister, got to have one Canadian. Mackenzie Hughes has been on fire. He's a top 10 machine and always plays well in the state of Texas. A lot of Canadians do because of the conditions. They can hit low ball flights. 48-1. KH Lee, if I told you he won the tournament 2 out of the last 3 years, you'd say I'm nuts, but it's true. I'll take him at 50-1. Got to come back to him. Maybe you make it 3 out of 4. Garrick Higo is a left-hander from South Africa who's peaking at the right time. He is playing great golf his last few tournaments. Love him at 110-1. And Carver's boy, CT Pots and Pans. Watch out for him. No respect at 110-1. Now let's go to some top 10s. We got some Siwoo Kim action. And what else do we got here? Ooh, okay. Yeah, thank you very much, fellas. Great work. Great job. Frank Font. Siwoo Kim, top 10. This guy is a machine. All he does is make money. He's a human ATM machine. Plus 160. Then we're going to go with Min Woo Lee at plus 280. Now the top 20s. Hey, Matt, maybe I'll add this to your money if you win. A Boston jersey and a couple Jaeger bombs at the bar if I come out to Vegas. We all like a nice Jaeger bomb at plus 150. Steven Jaeger already won this year. Tom, hoagie sandwich, absolutely delicious at plus 185 for a top 20. And what's in Wetzel's cupboard? Not as much. If Miami doesn't get that over for him, Mark Hubbard in the cupboard at plus 260. Then we'll go to Singapore. Let's have some fun. Forgot about my boy, Max Gracerman for a top 40. Who is this guy, you ask? Who knows? I'll tell you one thing. He's finished top 10 the last couple of weeks, and I do my research, and I'm telling you, Gracerman is hot. Singapore, let's go. We're going to go Cam Smith. I take a look at him. Matt, you got questions about the Leafs? I got answers. They don't play well at home. 0-6 in their last 6. Mito Pereira at 50-1, and Harold Varner III. We call him HV3 at 85-1. Hockey tonight, Edmonton -1.5 plus 130. We will take the Oilers in regulation -115, and that's where we stay. Zach Hyman to score a goal, former Leaf, plus 130. I think that's everything. Oh yeah, and the under in the Arizona Diamondbacks game with the Dodgers. Under 9, please. There we go.
I'm on first 5 under. I like it.
There we go. Hey, we're reading each other's mail. Matt, the jersey will be worn, and if it's not quality, I will send money. That's the deal. You tell Sherapan, I always am a man of my word. I'm not going to buy a $20 jersey or T-shirt and screw you. Let's see a game 7.
And I might buy it off you so you can hedge your bet a little better.
Right, there you go.
You want a Pasternak Wetzel? Yeah, send it in. The Pasternak jersey for Wetzel.
It fell.
Well, 2 of them.
Celtics fell 202. Over by a point.
Wow.
So I turned it off. I got my sweat done, and I'm leaving. Taking my money. I'm going home, and I don't want to talk to you for the rest.
Oh, yes!
There it is.
6-3. Catch the over. The over is hit. The Padres are our heroes.
That's how we end the show.
Oh, well, let's just sign off. Let's just call it a show.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Quotes coming out about Embiid. Oh, he's a warrior. You'll never get him off the court. You're just telling me he's an injury. He's one slip and fall away from what's not seeing him anymore in this series.
I would have sat him because there was only one day between the 2 games. It's 2 days between games 2 and games 3, and it's 2 days between games 3 and game 4.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
welcome back. In-game live, prime time here on the grid. Thanks again to Cam Stewart joining us. He'll take over top of the hour along with Gabe Morency for the next 2 here on the grid, radio and TV side of things. So the game ends up going over, Matt. I don't know if you saw it. We were talking with Cam, but 35, 38 or so seconds left, right? Boston's called for a traveling call, which, the guy had an uncontested layup, and somehow or another called for a travel. So I was upset about that. They call a timeout. I guess TNT had to get another commercial in, so they go to commercial, right? And then we're talking about a 35-point game with 35 seconds left, and they're going to a commercial. I'm like, I know what's going to happen, right? Miami's going to have the ball. They're going to dribble out 30 seconds or 25 seconds. Boston's going to get the ball. They're going to dribble out the final 10 seconds, and this thing's going to go under, right? So for whatever reason, Miami decides to actually play basketball. They come out. The guy hits a bucket. He's actually fouled and ends up being a 3-point play. And we needed 2, and the game goes over by 2 points. Or 1 or 2 points, depending on what number you got. But it ends up at 202. Or 204, rather. 204. So
no, it was 118. Wow. It was 118.84. No, right?
Yeah, 202.
It's 202.
Right, 202.
202. I know. I suck at the math. I physically wrote it down. I was like, wait a minute. I just did the math. I was like, wait a minute. This thing go over? It went over by 2 points. So yeah. So Miami heads off into the Cancun golf tournaments off season with a lot of question marks. Obviously, what happens next year? Jimmy Butler, obviously, his knee is a biggest concern for them going forward. Boston will play the winner of Orlando in Cleveland, and we'll see how long it takes that series to go. It feels like it's going to be a 7-game series, given the way that last night went, with a buzzer beater win for Cleveland, basically hard-fought win for the Cavs. We'll see what happens after the fact, and we'll see in Game 6 if Orlando protects home court. We're going to 7 games, and then for Boston, they want that series to go as long as possible, not just for rest, but because of Porzingis and the injury that he suffered. So if you get a Game 7, you may see Porzingis at some point, although I don't think he'll play in the second series. He'll play in the Eastern Conference Finals when they get there, because it's going to be – I can't wait to – you asked me, I cannot wait to see the number as to what it's going to be for either Cleveland or Orlando. It's going to be huge for the Celtics.
Yeah. They're playing – by the way, that Cleveland-Orlando series doesn't resume until Friday.
Wow.
I mean, they have had at least 2 games 3 days apart. But I guess they were afraid, that today is Wednesday, so it should be – or they played yesterday, so they should theoretically play tomorrow, right? But, they already got 2 East Coast games tomorrow. They got the Knicks and 76ers, and they got Indiana-Milwaukee in Indiana. Right. So they can't have a third. I mean, they can, but they don't want a third East Coast game. Right. So they pushed it off until Friday. So, and that happened to them the last game. So then 6 days is going to go by, and they're going to play 2 games. I mean, it's crazy. So who do you give a better chance coming back? Philly down 3-2, Milwaukee down 3-2, or Orlando down 3-2?
Orlando. I liked Orlando going into this series. I mean, Orlando played really well on the road at Cleveland. Unfortunately, they got that, bucket blocked at the end, a shot block at the end that stopped the game from being tied. So Milwaukee's just, I don't know what to make of them. I think that was kind of a fluky game in terms of how they played in the last one. I expect a much better version of Indiana. And look, the Sixers are just an anomaly. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Philly's better. I mean, Embiid's not wrong. Philly's the better team than the Knicks. They just aren't playing like it. They just, for whatever reason, I mean, Doc Rivers just is an absolute disaster. And yet he had that team playing really well, Nick Nurse had that team playing really well at the end of the year. And then they get to the playoffs and things have not gone well for Philadelphia. So I don't know. I mean, I'll be happy if the Knicks advance and Embiid's gone, because I think Boston gets an easier path. I think the spread, the overall number for Boston versus New York or Boston versus Philly, it's going to be a bigger number versus the Knicks.
Yeah, you got to figure Embiid's going to play a little better, you would think, but you can't assume that Maxi's going to go for nearly 50 again, right? So
what a shot! What a shot he hit too. I mean, that's a bomb, and it's one of those shots, Matt, that he had plenty of time. Right, he could have taken a couple steps further, right? But if you're open, you're open in the NBA. These guys can shoot from anywhere. logo shot, and Ben Stiller left to be, slack-jawed going, whoa. He hit the shot.
Yeah. So Philadelphia blows a 6-point lead and loses a game in the final minute, and the Knicks do the same. How crazy is that?
By the way, 3-2 still with 5 to play. 3-2 with 5 to play. Still 3-2.
You got a shot.
Under still live.